Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Mariah and this is Kaladara Creations. So in honor of Scorpio season this month, as a Scorpio, I decided 'tis the season of vulnerability, of really diving deep inward, of really surfacing our shadows so that we can meet them with awareness and allow for transformation to take place. So this month I will be doing something I call vulnerability diaries, where I will be creating videos, sharing personal stories from my life, things I've learned, and just diving deep within, getting really vulnerable. I'm doing this as an experiment with myself. I find that one of my favorite parts of a new relationship is getting to know the other person, of sharing stories of our past, of what has shaped us into where we are now. And I see this new journey of content creation as a new relationship in a way. And I want to deepen my intimacy with this as much as I can and use it as a tool to learn about myself more, to express these parts of myself. And I hope that by being open, you all can learn a little something from the lessons that I've gone through and hopefully feel a little bit more inspired to be more vulnerable in your own life, to be more intimate with all of your own personal relationships. So we're not gonna start off with my core wounds, with the deepest, juiciest trauma of the beginning stages of my life. For one, I feel like we'll work our way up, we'll ease into that. And also for two, a lot of situations that I've gone through also involve other people. So I just need to feel around within myself of what feels good in terms of the degree of what I share in respect of other people's privacy. So we'll see how that unfolds. But for today, let's start off with one thing that I really struggled with growing up, especially throughout middle school and high school, was that I had a massive inferiority complex. And I really just believed so deeply that I sucked at everything I did and that I was not creative. And I really logged that belief system in my mind, and it rippled out and impacted everything I did. For example, growing up, I was involved in a lot of things. I did a bunch of sports. I also, did art classes and such, and chorus. Yeah, I just always compared myself to other people. I felt like all of my friends were just such beautiful singers or such beautiful artists or amazing athletes. For example, when I was at soccer practice, I was just so fixated on how much better everybody was than me. The thoughts just kept playing back of thinking how much I suck. And now, with the perspective that I have, I really recognize the power of my mind because I believe that so deeply. That belief rippled out into my reality, and I honestly didn't do so good because I wouldn't grant myself the openness to learn. And I was constantly benched during games. I would secretly cry to myself on the bench. I would go home and bawl my eyes out because I felt like I sucked, and then I felt like things like being benched just proved that that belief I had was true. I just saw it as evidence that I must suck because I believe it to be true and I'm being benched. I must suck. Now I really see that that belief was not something that was solid. It was only solid because it mattered to me. I gave it density. I made it weighty, and it made it ripple out into reality. And I feel like we all do this in ways. We hold a belief so tight that we make movements, choices, show up in ways that support that limiting belief. The consequence is birth of the belief, and then we see it as evidence that the belief is true, but it simply just comes from the belief. And if we change the belief, then the result shifts. For example, I feel like if I really held the belief that I was so good at soccer as deeply as I held the belief that I sucked at it, then I would have been amazing. But alas, my beliefs just weren't there. So I moved through life with these beliefs, and I just held myself back so much in so many ways. And then eventually, as time unfolded and I got older, I felt like this whole configuration didn't take up as much space in my mind, but I still noticed that block within me. I didn't really create things much, which, side note, I do want to say, we are constantly creating. Everything we are doing, we are creating. We make a meal, that's a creation. You get dressed, that's a creation. You decorate your place, that's a creation. Everything really is a creation. But more so, I didn't really engage in artsy things because I still believed that I just wasn't good. And then thankfully, over the past couple of years specifically, I have shifted that so much. So much. Where right now, I adore the things I create. Where I am right now is a place that younger me would have dreamt of being. I really do feel like if past me would have looked at where I am right now, she would have been like, wow, so in awe and inspired. And that's how I choose to show up and view myself with all that I do. I've been pouring into little passion projects. And for me, I really love poetry and creating visual arts and different things like that, and many other hobbies. But specifically right now, I'm very focused on that. And every time I create something, I treat it as if it's my child, and it's perfect as it is. It's perfectly imperfect. Like when I'm writing something or I'm editing a video, I feel like a proud parent. Like I'm like smiling and just like tearing up and really just loving witnessing this creativity pour through me. I really try my best to not take things for granted, especially things that I once always wanted to experience and now I have. So right now I'm really cherishing this journey of opening myself creatively. And it has not always been this way. It has taken a lot. And then comes the question, okay, how did you let go of that block? How did you change it? How did you shift things? And it's difficult to answer these questions because I truly don't believe in quick fixes of one simple answer. But if I could put it into a simple answer, I would say that creative expression is a natural component of our well-being. The more we make choices that are nourishing, that are oriented towards self-love, then I really feel like any blocks are shifted on their own in a way, because I really believe that well-being is natural. I noticed that a handful of years ago, I really tried to be more creative. Every New Year's, I'd write it down on my like New Year's resolution of I want to create a bunch, but I just couldn't force the creativity. And over time, I feel like the more I've oriented towards things that feel supportive, that feel loving, that feel true to me, then my creativity has opened up naturally on its own. And one other thing on this topic is that I feel like it's so important to experiment. And this is something that has been helpful that I've allowed myself to do over the years, is really just try so many different forms of art and see what feels resonant, see what fills you up. As corny as it is, I really do love the phrase follow your joy. When you start to bring more awareness internally and you start to listen to yourself, you can feel what things bring you joy, whether it be a creative activity or a connection you're in. If you really listen and tune in, you can feel what feels like a yes, what feels exciting, and using those feelings as breadcrumbs so you can orient towards those things that bring you authentic joy. And then perhaps over time, the passion project that you initially thought was your deepest love shifts and shapes and evolves and takes different forms, but you just need to follow the joy little by little and see what comes of it. And one last thing I want to touch upon, I'm not bringing this conversation up to poke shame at the situation, more so just to take a step back and to really look at what's going on here with inferiority complexes. They are simply the same thing, just flipped coin of superiority complexes. They both are ego-driven and egocentric. Someone who experiences a superiority complex when they think they're better than everybody is literally just a flip coin of somebody who thinks they're less than everybody. And when I say it's very egocentric, because it's all about me, like I suck, I'm better. It's focused on me. It's very tunnel vision. And I just wanted to bring awareness to this because I feel like it's really common for people to have such a negative perspective of superiority complexes, but I think it's fascinating to view it in the same light, just a flipped perspective of an inferiority complex. Neither is good or bad or right or wrong, but some things are out of alignment with our heart and our soul. And when we are so ego focused, so I focused, and we don't actually take a step back to open ourselves to other possibilities, and we limit ourselves. And okay, my camera's dying soon, so we're gonna wrap it up for today. Each week, we're just gonna dive deeper and deeper and get more and more vulnerable, more and more juicy. If y'all are nosy and want to get to know me a little bit more, I'd love for you to follow along. As always, your time and energy is so precious, and I don't take that for granted. I really appreciate you witnessing me in this and my expression and what I have to share, and I hope you have such a beautiful day.